Hola, grand awakenings. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me today. Another episode of Mind Shift Change. Today we are talking about what's the topic? Did Trump steal Christmas?
Because the Trump tariffs are going to raise prices dramatically in this country, Christmas will look very different if Donald Trump doesn't surrender in his tariff war with China.
According to the New York Times, let's see, we got toy makers, children's shops, and specialty retailers are pausing orders for the winter holidays as the import taxes cascade through supply chains. Factories in China produce nearly 80% of all toys and 90% of Christmas goods sold in America. Alarm in the industry is palpable, with the companies predicting product shortages and higher prices. So we have some business owners citing how crucial holiday sales are to their bottom lines, and they're actually consulting bankruptcy lawyers. So this is this is pretty ironic because Trump has filed bankruptcy like I don't know at least 6 or 7 times. So honestly, like when the presidency candidation or whatever, when you had to decide between Trump and Harris, you're like, okay, well, Trump is a businessman. Maybe he knows how to run the business, but you can't leave out the fact that within his businesses, he files bankruptcy. And for those who don't know what bankruptcy is, it's like you've taken money, whether it's like credit or loans or whatever, and then you say, you know what, I can't pay it back, but I also want to keep my stuff. So that's what bankruptcy is. And that's what Trump is very, very good at. I'd say he's probably better at filing bankruptcy than he is at running a business. But that's just me. Obviously, he's probably better at filing bankruptcy than he is at negotiating deals. That's pretty clear. But I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. China said they're going to fight to the end. So China is used to. Thing about China that people don't realize is China already been through stuff where they were cut off from the world, and they know how to rally their people together for a cause. So that's one thing that China has on us, where it's not really going to hurt them as bad. And another thing is we used to be like, say, a quarter of China's export business, and now we're only like 12%. So I think that they've actually been preparing for a day like this, where if we did turn our backs on them or act crazy or whatever the case may be, then they will be prepared to take that hit.
How concerned are you?
Yeah, I think it's a real issue. It's a real concern. I mean, it's going to bring people's memory back to COVID when we had all sorts of shortages. This could happen again. So really what's happening is companies have paused shipments into the United States. And in doing so, it means that a number of products will not be readily available and won't be in inventory when consumers go to purchase those things.
Are you worried about empty shelves?
Not at present. We have some great retailers. I assume they pre-ordered. I think we'll see some elasticities. I think we'll see replacements.
It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat it.
That's mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs.
Did Trump steal Christmas? So bottom line is, even if Trump wakes up today, 101 days in office, and says, you know what, I was wrong, my bad, guys, things are already backed up. Like the ports are already receiving less shipments, and the people that sell Christmas items, this is the time that they will be ordering.
Some of the damage is already done, whether you undo it or not.
Well, it's going to sound ridiculous, but supply chains have an enormously long lead time. So I'm going to say something that is absolutely going to seem absurd, but there is a potential of what's happening right now. Even if we get a deal in the next 3 months, I'm specifically talking about China. Even if we get a deal, you could have problems getting your hands on holiday goods. And so things about Christmas, those Christmas gifts, it sounds absurd, but you might want to start doing your Christmas shopping right now, because when you go to shop in the stores in October, November, and December, the items that you would expect to normally see may not be there, or the selection may not be there. So that sounds insane, but because of the long lead time, because companies order these products 6 to 9 months in advance, it just takes a long time to move through the supply chain. So go ahead and prepare now.
So they get on the TV, like Trump's people get on TV, and they're like, well, some people have prepared. Who prepared? Who prepared? Who knew that this was going to happen? And he's like, some of the bigger box stores have prepared. Well, who's bigger than Walmart? And if Walmart is coming into the White House saying, we're going to have empty shelves in 2 weeks, how are they prepared? How are the American people supposed to be prepared? That's a very good question. So I honestly don't think that they are. I think that it's a bunch of lies, and it's just trying to smooth the people over so we don't realize what's really happening, what we're really paying for. And honestly, a lot of y'all who know me know that was one of the reasons I left the States, because they got us paying for stuff that we don't want to pay for and we don't agree with, and we're not behind, but yet we're working our butts off and we're paying for these things because we're there and because we're citizens.
The bottom line is that if we charge a tariff on a foreign country, then if they have inelastic supply to us, then the supplier in that country is going to bear the tariff, not the U.S. consumer. And the idea that Amazon is going to say that the tariff is passing through to the consumer means that they don't understand economics.
So y'all remember Jeff Bezos, right? Yeah, I know you do. So Amazon, he owns Amazon.
Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product.
And he was also at the inauguration for Trump because he's one of the richest people in America. So what he did, which is the same as, I think it's Shein. I got to look on my phone. I'm going to give y'all a post of Shein actually prices the tariff. Like you can see it when you're going to check out, you see what the regular price is, what the tax is, and what the tariff is. So they've already switched to that. And apparently Amazon was going to try to take a play out of their game book and say, you know what, we're going to let our customers know how much of this is the regular price and how much of this is the Trump tariffs. So as soon as they put that out, guys, the White House went crazy. They're like, this is some kind of political thing, and I can't believe they did that, and they're in bed with China. Like, they were saying like all types of stuff. So
isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this, since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. And
apparently, Trump gets on the phone with Bezos and I don't know, convinces him, gives him some of his money back. I don't know, because all of these people contributed to Trump's campaign, meaning they put money in thinking that they were going to get something out of this deal, at least within these 4 years that Trump is president. Oh, and they're getting something. I don't know if it's what they bargained for, but they're definitely going to get something in return. So Trump gets on the phone with him and he's like, oh, well, we ironed it out, you know, they're not going to do it and China's going to eat the cost. And so it's like, it sounds like to me they're trying to say, like Trump is saying, China's going to eat the tariff costs. So we're not supposed to notice the price on Amazon going up. And we're supposed to think that, oh, well, we're not paying these extra tariffs, and they really don't want the American people to know what we're paying for.
If a company were to say we're raising prices because of the tariff, is that a hostile act?
I think if you go out of your way to try to make it seem like your price has changed when it's nonsense, okay? A 10% tariff.
Why is that nonsense?
Because a 10% tariff is not going to change virtually any price. The only price it would change would be a product that we don't make here, like a mango.
About Jeff Bezos, of course, the president
Sure.
there discussing his phone call with Jeff Bezos. Pretty remarkable that a U.S. company that wants to be transparent with consumers about why they're paying the prices that they are would then be said to be political.
So this segment is about Christmas, but what is tied into Christmas is jobs. So again, you learn about one thing, but your job could be on the line. There are a lot of retailers that are going to be cutting their force, cutting their sales force. There's a lot of things that are coming, a lot of uncertainty.
Should I be concerned about my job?
Yeah, it's a real concern. There are 9 million people who work in logistics nationwide across the United States that move products throughout our supply chain. If you think about the fact that we've had a 35% drop off in imports into the United States, that likely to stay persistent for some period of time. When we look at what it will impact domestically, so we still source a lot of products in the U.S. About 20% of the trucking volume across the United States is actually imports. So we're thinking we could see a 5 to 6% drop of total freight across the U.S., and that could mean anywhere from 400 to 500,000 potential job losses in logistics alone. You mentioned retail. One of the things that retailers need is inventory, and if they don't have inventory, they're not going to have as many sales. And if you don't have as many sales, you don't have the need for as many people. So these are sort of these secondary impacts, and that's assuming that it doesn't actually go much further into things really across the whole economy.
People in the trucking sector face the risk of temporary unemployment, fewer goods coming in, fewer goods to move around the United States. So if you're engaged very actively in the traded goods sector, you're very vulnerable. If you're in the service sector, perhaps less so.
Did he steal Christmas? I guess we won't really know for a few months. So y'all can get down in the comments and, put your thoughts on the subject. Me, I think so. I think that Trump did steal Christmas, that it's not really going to happen the way y'all been letting it happen these last, generations pretty much, because people celebrate Christmas. I don't, so I'm not worried about it. But I do have a backup plan. This is the great thing. So Christmas is not going to be like Christmas usually is. And I'm so glad you guys are tuning in to me, because I have great alternatives for you. And actually some things that you should have probably already had in place, but if you don't, listen closely, listen. So, life insurance for yourself, for your children, annuities for you teachers out there that have been putting into pensions, and people who think they're getting Social Security. You guys, you really need to pay attention. And now is the time to make some changes in your financial life. So if you don't know exactly what changes to make sure you reach out to me. I'll have my number down below. You can schedule a Zoom meeting with me, schedule a phone call, and we can go over your personal finances. Since, hey, I don't think you're going to have to put into a whole bunch of Christmas toys this year. And if you do, you're going to be putting in way more than you did last year. So this is the perfect time to change your financial future. So what? Christmas might not happen this year. Make sure you got a policy on yourself. Make sure that you're covered. So if something else happens, all this stress that you're going through, you check out, you stroke, heart attack, anything like that, and you're no longer here for your family, have coverage in place so that they can be taken care of. Because this world is, as we know it, is getting crazier and crazier by the day, not even by the year, just by the day. This is 100 days, 101 days into Trump's presidency, and look at what we're going through. Christmas is like a small fry compared to your food and your things that you need, your parts for your car that you're going to need so you can keep taking your butt to work or Ubering after work. Whatever you got to do, this is going to make a major impact on it. So make sure that you got your ducks in a row. Make sure you have your business in order, your affairs in order, because again, just like we don't know if Christmas is going to be here this year, 2025, nobody knows when our last day is, when our last moment is. So it's super, super important that you have policies in place to protect your family, to protect your assets, to protect the things and the people that you love and that you work really hard for here. So make sure you reach out to me. We do have some great products. If you're getting coverage for yourself, I work with the top insurance company in the US of A. Good old US of A. And let me tell you one thing that sets the company apart. Anybody remember 9/11? Anybody remember that? So there were a lot of families affected by 9/11. What people don't know is only one insurance company paid out to those families that were affected. Okay? And that's the company that I work for. So we have opportunities. If you would like to find some work at home opportunities, somewhere where you can be in control of your finances, where you're not sitting on your job wondering if you're going to get an email saying, what did you do today? And you're fired tomorrow. Like, who can live under those circumstances? So again, not only do I have the hookup on those insurance policies to make sure that you're covered, that your children are covered, annuities, Roths, products that can help you put your money in a safe place where it can grow. And when it's growing, as it's growing, you can have the peace of mind knowing that when you do, not if, because nobody's making it out of here alive. So when you do pass away, that you don't leave your family with a burden. You don't leave your family online creating GoFundMe accounts saying, oh my gosh, let's give her the going off celebration that she deserves. You don't want that. And they got to do chicken dinners, fish fries, car washes. Like, when something major happens, you want your family to be at peace, at ease, knowing that I can take care of this. I can send my loved one off the way that I want to and still live. So that's the most important thing. Make sure that even if Christmas doesn't happen this year the way you want it to, make sure that your children still get the most special gift. Your family members get the most special gift that an individual can give. And that's taking care of your business. So when you pass away, your family don't have to get together and take care of the business that you should have taken care of while you were here. So with that being said, appreciate you listening to me, and make sure you pay attention to what you're paying attention to, which is me. So thank you so much. Ciao.